There's something about in the beginning, when Jason was first in the hospital, I had this frantic feeling of, I have to tell people not to cancel their gigs. Jason will be out of here in a few weeks. Everything will be fine. And then he wasn't fine, and time kept going and going and going, and he was unconscious for so long. But being in such a survival mode, time felt very different. And I don't know if I can really put that into words. Really, everything seemed like an eternity and a blip all at the same time.
By this point, Jason had reached his lifetime insurance cap of $1 million, so there was no more money for hospital bills. The family had researched long-term acute care facilities and had found Spaulding Rehabilitation Hospital in Boston, which had a great reputation for treating brain injuries. It seemed perfect because Monica's family was in Boston and the baby was due very soon. So they applied for Medicaid in Massachusetts, and Spaulding agreed to admit Jason with the understanding that Medicaid was pending. The staff began videotaping Jason's sessions for training purposes.
Jason, I'll show you over to Amanda. We are being filmed, okay? Anything you want to say to the camera? Good morning. Hi. Can you get your voice going? Say hi. Louder. Excellent. Louder.
It was now 7 months since Jason's bleed. Monica and Marjorie had moved to Boston. Jason's parents were coming up constantly from New York, his father staying on weekdays and his mother staying on weekends.
Swallow. Whoa,
All right.
Jason, excellent. He's doing great.
Okay, reach over here. Can you grab my hand?
When Jason was admitted to Spaulding, he was in a vegetative state.
Jason came to us after several months of being down in New York. He was extremely debilitated. He didn't have a lot of voluntary movement. He wasn't responding very well to the environment around him. And for someone who was several months following their stroke, that generally is not a good indicator of what the ultimate recovery is going to be.
I knew that he will have deficits like problem with movement of his limbs, legs and arms. He will have problems speaking. He will have problem expressing his needs. As far as exact prognosis, I wasn't sure, but it did not look good.
The idea of him returning to fully independent functioning, we really didn't hold out much hope for that. That we anticipated that he was going to need permanent care, less than what he needed when he came in, we were hoping, but not at a point where he could really meet a lot of his own basic needs and just even at the level of toileting and being able to feed himself and those kinds of things. We were hoping that at best we could get him to a point where he could be more manageable on the part of his family, but didn't hold out a lot of hope that in terms of the long-term permanent picture that he'd make a really remarkable recovery.